A pandemic program that sheltered over 10,000 Angelenos over the last 2 years is set to end in September, and the drawdown is already sending folks back into encampments. We found people who have federal housing vouchers that will pay their rent, but they can't find landlords to accept them. As one LA City councilman says, the county's homeless agency, LAHSA, failed to prepare for this moment.
It's nearly noon, and Daniel Dickerson has yet to figure out where he's going to sleep tonight. He's just abandoned his tent after a local gang showed up this morning with guns.
What audacity to think that I should be allowed to live somewhere. Yeah, I guess I should just go die somewhere, because that's what they want.
Until this week, he's had a room at the Mayfair Hotel thanks to Project Roomkey, a federal pandemic program that paid for hotel rooms to get the homeless off the street. FEMA is ending the program this fall.
I said, oh, okay, so I'm just going to go back to the sidewalk and don't let the door hit me in the ass on the way out? And she goes, yeah.
On July 1st, there were 215 people sheltered at the Mayfair. By Friday, there were only 2. Carmela Fitzpatrick is also back on the street, though she's counting her blessings because she still has her RV. She's looking for her friend Scott. No one has seen him since the Mayfair closed.
It's very scattered. Some people have been moved to just another hotel that's part of the project. Some people have gotten their Section 8 and their location. Some people have not.
A few Roomkey hotels will provide shelter through September. Councilman Kevin DeLeon's office says there are about 600 people still at the LA Grand, and a third of those have emergency housing vouchers but haven't found landlords to accept them. He says LA's Homeless Services Authority, LAHSA, failed to plan for this moment. Quote, LA cannot afford to go back on the promises made to the PRK participants. My staff and I have doggedly requested a ramp-down plan from LAHSA on multiple occasions, and the lack of follow-through has been a huge concern. LAHSA was unable to comment for the story. Dickerson was turned away from the Grand because they can't verify he's vaccinated for COVID-19, even though he was just in another hotel. It's nearly impossible to keep track of documents when you're homeless.
I have borderline personality disorder, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, PTSD, and OCD.
FEMA funded Roomkey to help cities provide a place to quarantine during the pandemic. It became a catch-all for the unhoused as city council members increased sweeps and demolished encampments. In his new book, Homelessness is a Housing Problem, Greg Colburn says there is simply not enough affordable housing to meet the need.
We need lots and lots more housing. We need housing that's affordable to people who are working at the minimum wage. We need housing for people with substance use and mental illness disorders. And if we fail to provide those units, what we're going to see is this unsheltered homelessness crisis in Los Angeles and San Francisco and Seattle continue to flourish. And it's terrible for the people experiencing homelessness, and it's bad for the community.
Clients like Dickerson had the security of a locked door in exchange for following the rules like strict curfews and drug searches.
One of the symptoms of borderline personality disorder is isolation makes me suicidal almost instantly. So how pleasant do you think it is that Project Roomkey won't allow me to have a visitor?
Fitzpatrick says Roomkey was a missed opportunity to help people rebuild their lives and regain trust in the system.
Especially when you've been in a bad position, it gets very depressing. People will get depressed and then they just don't want to do anything.
Dickerson is outraged and bitter. His only shred of hope is a single sheet of paper.
Here's my voucher.
One of those precious housing vouchers that would subsidize his rent if he just found a landlord to accept it.